Hey, everybody, we're back with some more limited series podcasts. We're going to be discussing the Obi-Wan series that's out now on Disney Plus. They had episodes 1 and 2. They're actually calling them parts 1 and parts 2 we saw there. So they'll probably just do that all the way through the 6 that they're going to be doing. And we're going to just do this one today, one episode 1 and 2 kind of combined. And we'll do kind of a quick fire sort of talk on this one here and give you our overall thoughts on each episode, and we'll go 1 and then 2. Heather's back with me to do this again, so we'll hopefully have a better experience than we did with Halo.
We better.
Starting off better.
It is starting off much better.
So we'll lead with that. So the first episode does start out it was sort of a flashback where we see the end of episode 3. Well, it was kind of the beginning of episode 3 toward the end, where Anakin has now turned evil and Order 66 has been initiated, and they are killing all the Jedi and all the younglings. Starts with younglings being saved. There's probably 5 of them, if I remember right.
Yeah, roughly.
One particular Jedi is saving them, and she's doing a pretty badass job, doing a bang up job, fucking those other guys up. It was really cool. I liked the beginning. It really hooked me right away that they at least showed you there was stuff going on that they didn't show us in the movies, trying to save the younglings. Not all of them were killed by Anakin, as the memes would say. But that it was cool to see all the defeating of several stormtroopers and the blocking of. Felt like a video game, like very felt like some of the video games from PS2 where you could ricochet back, their blasters with the lightsabers back into them, and she was doing that quite a bit in this. But you see them kind of run off, and then it flash forwards 10 years, and the Inquisitors show up in this pretty cool looking ship.
Yeah, pretty cool ship.
You could definitely tell it was a bad guy ship.
Yep.
That's pretty common with Star Wars.
Just from the silhouette, you knew.
Yep.
Like, uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of wondered if it would have been like a Vader ship, because we know he'll be in this. But this is just kind of his henchman.
Yeah. I felt like it was too early to bring Vader in, I felt like.
Almost for shock value, I thought they would do it.
Yeah.
That was all for me. I thought, Vader's going to walk out this bitch, and it's going to be like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean?
I kind of thought that, but then I was like, no, it's too early for that. Like, Star Wars has a history of kind of milking things a little bit, but they also do it in a way that you don't necessarily feel like you're getting milked.
Right. They do a really good job.
They do a really good job of like pulling things out.
Yep, definitely.
They know how to tell a story.
Yes, they definitely do. Definitely do. I did not know what the Inquisitors were. So a little backstory for me with Star Wars is like, I'm mainly just a movie guy. I'm like the big stuff, Star Wars, comic books and books, regular books, all that kind of stuff. Not really me. So the Inquisitors also, I've never seen any of the Clone Wars stuff. And I know a lot of the Clone Wars stuff's kind of going to come and play on this from my research. So I had to do some research on Inquisitors because I didn't know what they were, but more or less, to sum it up for anybody out there who also does not know, they're essentially a Jedi who turned evil, and now they're on the dark side, but they're not like a Sith. They're like just beneath like being, Vader, basically. You know what I mean? They don't work directly for the Emperor, but they're working for Vader from what I understand. So that makes them an Inquisitor instead of a
Sith.
What do I want to say? An apprentice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
which their job is to search for Jedi.
Yep, that's all they're doing right now. They're looking for the Jedi that weren't killed. And one specific Inquisitor, she's a little obsessed with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I don't like her.
She's a good character, though.
She is a good character, but I just feel like she's just more ruthless. I feel like than Vader even is. She's
brutal.
Like, what is going on?
Yeah, she is very, very brutal. So we're going to see a lot from her. I'm 100% sure. But yeah, she is told by the Grand Inquisitor that she basically needs to back off. Like, this is my show, he says, more or less, and you need to slow your roll and do as you're told. And that doesn't set well with her.
No, and he's basically telling her, like, it's been 10 years. No one has seen, Kenobi. He's gone. Give it up. And she's like, no.
Right. She does not.
She thinks he's out there somewhere.
And they don't really tell us why she's obsessed. We'll figure that out eventually. I think they'll tell us.
Well, they do later.
Well, yeah. but that's just still you're kind of guessing. And we'll talk about that. But then we do cut away to well, there is a little bit of a scene there, I guess, that does happen when the Inquisitors show up in the it's like a cantina in a way. It's like a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I don't remember which guy throws the knife, but one of the Inquisitors throws the knife, and the Jedi that's in there stops the knife right at this just a civilian's face. It wasn't
the girl Inquisitor. No. It was the other one.
It wasn't the Grand Inquisitor either. It was because there's 3 Inquisitors that show up here. And one of them's the actor from the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. He's the Asian actor. Sorry, I do not know his name, and I do not have anything pulled up to tell anybody. But he throws the dagger, the Jedi stops it, and then there's like a big back and forth, and he makes his way out of there. He escapes. And then we cut away to Obi-Wan. Well, it's actually a big giant fish in the desert, right?
You're like, what is it?
You see, it looks like a big fin, and then the camera kind of pans and you realize it's just this giant fish, and there's actually like salvaging it.
Yeah, they're like harvesting the meat.
Yeah. I essentially had down here that he's working at like a meat factory. That's what he's doing. I mean, he's working for like Tyson Foods, but it's Star Wars, you know? And it's just a big ass fish. And he kind of takes a little sliver of it with him, kind of hides it. And then gets out of there. They do a little clock in, clock out thing. And there's a little bit of something that happens where one of the people working with him doesn't get paid what they think they should. And that's kind of stuff. You can see that he's kind of holding back some of his emotions on stuff like that. But then he heads back into town, and he gets like, it's kind of like a camel horse sort of alien type of,
that's what he gives the meat to.
Yeah. He gives the meat to the horse that he's riding. I don't know the name of it. I probably could look it up. But he then gets back, and he buys the toys. Then, like, he buys like the ship, looks like a ship.
Yeah, the junk toys that somebody found. He buys those.
Yeah, he buys those, and then tries to get swindled for new parts for his evaporator that they stole from him and stuff. That's just typical for those characters to do that to you.
Yes, the Jawas.
The Jawas, yeah, they're little dickhead Jawas.
Yeah.
And then
because you find out that the Jawas actually stole his part.
Yes.
And they're trying to sell it back to him. And he's like, and Obi-Wan tells him, if you're gonna sell back my own parts, can you at least clean them first?
And then the Jawa says cleaning's extra.
Yeah.
So a little comedy in there too. It's really cool. So then they kind of there's like a dream sequence then that happens. Obi-Wan goes to sleep. He's like sleeping and living in this like cave, basically. I'm going to assume it's the same cave that we see in A New Hope, where Luke shows up at and he gives him his dad's saber.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same place. It really looked like it in some locations, but it's hard to say. But he has a nightmare, and he's just thinking of all the things that happened in episodes 1, 2, and 3 are flashing up on the screen. And then he wakes up and he starts talking to Qui-Gon. And, you know, he's like Master Qui-Gon, and he's speaking out loud, but we never hear Qui-Gon. We never see Qui-Gon. Mm-hmm. So that whole being able to commune with, you know, his master that Yoda has taught him is going to come into play at some point. And that's what I'm most excited for, to be honest, out of all of this so far. I want to see how that happens to be a real thing. Not the Jedis, but the one Jedi that escapes comes and finds Obi-Wan after he's delivered these toys secretly to Luke at their doorstep. And the Jedi's like, you got to help me, you know, I know who you are and all that. Yep. And he's like, I'm Ben. Like, you know, he just plays it off like, I'm just Ben. I'm just a guy. And he won't stop. And he finally gets down and tells him, like, takes his lightsaber from him, hands it back to him, says, you need to bury this in the desert, and you need to live a normal life and forget everything.
Yep. The time of the Jedi is over.
Yep. We lost. Like he says, you know, he's completely lost hope, like done. Which I think is kind of cool how, like, you can see that Obi-Wan has lost hope in this, and the episode 4 is called A New Hope. And it makes you really think that like they're going to lean into that a little bit, because Obi-Wan will be the reason why episode 4 is called A New Hope, because it's a new hope for Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I'm leaning and thinking about it as we watch. Yeah. So we then get a cut to, we are on, help me with the planet. Alderaan. I got it. Sorry, guys. Boy, my brain's all over the place with this show right now. But yes, we cut to Alderaan and Senator Organa. Well, there's a little girl getting dressed up, and
you see the braid in the bun, like on the back of her head, and you're like, oh, that's little Princess Leia.
Yep, we've already seen little pieces of Luke as a youngling, pretending like he's flying a ship and stuff. But when Obi-Wan was over watching him from a distance, now we get to see Leia, and Leia plays a little trick on her mom, and the girl getting dressed and dolled up is not Leia. No. It's another little girl, and she was like, she said she thought it'd be funny, like you
would find it funny.
Yeah, right. Mom doesn't. Her mom's
like, no.
Then she's like, where is she? And she's like, probably in the woods somewhere. And then we get a cut to Leia in the woods playing, and she's just kind of running around. She's monkeying it up out in the woods. Yep. Running up trees.
She climbs up in the tree and sets and is naming off the different aircrafts taking off out of from the planet, and she knows what they're all called. She has this really cool little droid with her. Lola.
Yep.
She's like a little ladybug.
Yeah, she looks like from the movie, and this is going way back. I don't know if some of our audience knows this, but Batteries Not Included is what it reminded me of. It looks just like a Batteries Not Included character. It just kind of hovers and flies around with her, but you can see how imaginative she is and how smart she is, and they're really making her out to be that sort of character because she's
really spunky.
Oh yeah,
just like
she's got
Princess Leia.
Yep, she's got her one, like Padme.
Like Padme.
She's got like a lot of like gumption behind what she's doing, but she has a really good imagination. She's like making up what each ship is doing and where they're going, and that was kind of neat. And then after we see her, she, obviously she goes back home, but then we cut back to Obi-Wan working again, and same routine. Looks like just a daily life routine that we're all kind of used to. He goes to work, he gets the food for his horse, and he goes back and gives it to it, and then he goes, well, this time Owen shows up, throws the toys at his feet, and says, you need to stay away.
Yep, you need to leave him alone. Yep. Stay away.
And he says, we had this conversation, the boy has to be trained when the time is right. And then you get just like you trained Anakin.
Yeah. That little jab of a one liner. You're like, oh,
and you see Obi-Wan react to that. Like, he's just like, he kind of doesn't want to, but he kind of knows he's going to and has to. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out as well. So then, after they do that, then the Inquisitors show up and they start questioning people, like, where's the Jedi?
Where's the Jedi? Because they know that the Jedi has escaped to the planet. So they're looking for the Jedi.
Yep. So they threaten Owen and his family, and third sister is what they call her most of the time. I don't think they've ever said a name.
No, I think it's just third sister.
Yeah, they just say, third sister to her, but she busts out the lightsaber and has it right at Owen's throat and threatens the whole town, and nobody does anything. And the Grand Inquisitor ends up stopping her from killing Owen. And you wonder, like, maybe Obi-Wan's going to use his powers here.
Yeah.
Because it kind of looked like he was going to be forced.
Yeah, it kind of looked like his hand was going to be tilted. Like, I can't let anything happen to Owen. Like, you could see him when it kept cutting back. Like, he was like, do I do something? Do I not do something? What do I do? And then the Grand Inquisitor intervened and the third sister stopped. So you're like, okay.
Right, exactly.
And then he does thank Owen. Like, thank you for not turning me in.
And he's like, I didn't do it for you.
Yep.
Well, and we know he did that for his family.
Yep.
Clearly. And for Luke more so.
Yeah.
Cuts back to Leia though then, and she's now with Senator Organa, her dad, and you can see, they have kind of a playful relationship. Like, there's nothing super serious about that at all.
No, they have a very good relationship, it seems like.
Yeah. So she gets ready to go to this little like get together, this party thing where the senators go and they all talk about things, and they get there and they're talking about like ending slavery and all this kind of stuff. And they're basically like, we didn't come here to end slavery. We came here to eat your food. And we cut over to Leia with her cousin. And this is where you really see the spunkiness and like the really smart parts of Leia, where he's basically like thinking he's better than anybody else. And
he's telling her she's not a real Organa and she's not part of the family, and she lets him have it.
Yes.
She doesn't hold back. She just tells him how it is. And
yep. She has a really good one like sentence in there, about like, you're scared of your father, you never tell him anything. And we can tell that. And she's like, I think I'm spot on with that, or something along those lines. Like she knew his number. She called his number for sure. So then there's a conversation after the fact, and she talks with her dad, and it's like, you have to apologize. And she's like, but I don't want to. And he's like, I know. And then they have a conversation about how she's going to be the leader of, everything there on Alderaan, and people are going to look up to her. And
she's going to be a senator one day.
She says, I don't want to be. Yep. And he said, that's why you're going to be good at it. So, and then he makes her pinky swear that she has to go and apologize, which I thought was kind of a cute little moment there. And then Leia gets back out in the woods. She's going to go play again, and she gets abducted.
Yeah.
Straight up. She does a really good job trying to get away.
She does.
Even with a little bit of help that she tried to get, they got her. And it's actually Needles from Back to the Future that abducts her. So I thought that, I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. So just seeing him, which is, he's from, why am I drawing? Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
So, but Needles from Back to the Future he will be for me till the day I die. But yeah, he shows up and he's in the Star Wars universe now. So I thought that was kind of cool. And you don't know why she's being taken 100%. But they get her and they get out of there. And then Senator Organa, it cuts to Obi-Wan at his cave, and there's just like this beeping sound coming from somewhere.
Yeah, he has like a scanner, like they always have. Like I've seen them before in the Star Wars universe, where when you go to enter a building, like it pops up, and if it's blue, nobody's came in.
Oh, it was before that though.
Okay.
This is where the thing called, remember?
Oh, yeah.
He had to dig it out of his luggage.
I remember that now, like the earpiece or whatever.
Right. He had like the holographic communicator in there, and he dug it out because he's buried everything for this whole time. And he says, you have to come and help. And Obi-Wan refuses. He's like, no, I'm not.
It's like, I can't, like,
nope.
my allegiance is to the boy.
Get your people to do it, you know?
Like, I have to protect the boy.
Yep. I'm here for my job. And Organa kind of pleads with him and everything. Nope, not going anywhere. And we cut back to Obi-Wan in the meat factory again. And we see the Jedi from the beginning, after he leaves the meat factory and is back in the town, is like hanging now, dead from him. Yeah, they found him. The one he told to go out and bury his saber and live a normal life. Didn't listen. Man was caught and killed and hung up for everybody to see. So that was kind of a brutal moment. That was probably one of the most like shocking moments of this episode, I think. Did not expect that for sure. I mean, he wasn't like hanging by a noose, but they like tied him up when his dead body was just hanging there. So then you get Organa in the cave. Because essentially what Obi-Wan has, he has a security system. And he has a droid out front that just monitors inside, and it'll like pop up out of the ground. And it's blue when everything's clear inside, and it's red when it's not. And this time it was red. So he went in thinking, uh-oh, here we go. And it turned out to be Organa in person, showed up and was like, hey, you have to go save Leia. You have to. So we cut back to Leia and with her little pet droid, and she's trying to get free and stuff. And then Needles comes in and destroys it, knocks it down. And
she gave him a fight though, man. She
did.
She was not going quietly into the night. Like Leia was like, if you're going to take me, you're going to work for it.
Yep, that's right.
She was every chance she got.
Yeah.
Trying to get out.
So she says, my dad's going to save me, you're going to get it, that kind of stuff. And he's like, whatever. He's a bad guy. He don't care. And then we cut back to Obi-Wan in the desert digging. And I'm pretty sure we all know what he's digging for. Mm-hmm. And it ends up ending with him boarding a ship, and he has lightsaber right on the hip.
Yep.
And that was the end of part 1 of the Obi-Wan series. What did you think overall of this episode? Like at the end of it, I know we watched them back to back, but this one here,
I liked it a lot. It was really good. I liked how they were kind of refleshing out the characters for you. You kind of we went back and actually watched parts 1, 2, and 3 before Obi-Wan, the movies, yes, before Obi-Wan came out. but it was still nice beforehand. They had like that little refresher.
Yeah.
And then you could still see the connection that, you know, Obi-Wan has with Anakin in his dreams. Like that was his brother. Like I love it. Like I'm so excited this show is out because I love Star Wars and I don't know. I don't know what else to say except I really like it and I can't wait to watch more of it. Like I want to watch it all and see how it plays out.
Yeah, it was very cool. That 5-minute thing at the beginning was nice, nice catch up. We didn't need it, like she said. We watched them all already, but it was kind of cool how like they threw things together, and then you didn't really connect until they wanted you to here. So that was kind of neat. One of the biggest things for me that I noticed was watching Ewan McGregor act in this. To start out, like I was really watching him a lot, and you could see that he was just somehow taking the essence of Alec Guinness and just using it for all the right reasons. It was fantastic to see him like playing that just older Obi-Wan. Like you feel that Alec Guinness is going to be coming soon, like that character.
Yeah, you can see the road where he's heading, like the person he's going to develop into.
Yeah.
It is nice to see, like, I love the little timepieces that come between the movies because it fills in those blanks. And like you can see Obi-Wan, he's crushed.
Yeah.
Like he's hurt because the Jedi have lost. He lost his brother. Like, and he plays that very well in the show, I think. Like you can see it on his face. Like he wants to be the Jedi and he wants to save, but he knows he can't. And then he's also heartbroken at the same time. So I thought it was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just some of the mannerisms and things he does too, in episodes 1 and 2, both here. The way, you know, he kind of touches his lip and the way he thinks about things. Like he does the same things that Alec Guinness does in episode 4, A New Hope. So I thought that was really, really cool to see that he took the role that seriously and wasn't just stepping back in for money or something.
Yeah, and being like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah, very, very well shot as well. Special effects were really great. The overall look of the show fits perfectly. To be able to watch all 3 of these and then, watch episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then stop and then watch Obi-Wan and then go into A New Hope. That's just like, it's just like you were saying, it just adds so much more to the world. And us being the big movie fans and the TV fans when it comes to Star Wars stuff, it's kind of cool to be able to get this without the comic books and the books because all that is so much harder to go and find and get and read and everything. I like that a lot about it. I think it was really off to a great start.
Oh yeah. And 100%. I do have to say, whoever did the casting for this, when they cast Leia, did a fantastic job. Like, I'm not sure who the little girl is who plays her, but she is amazing.
Yeah. And she has on IMDb, she beats out Ewan McGregor on like
on the casting.
Yeah, she's first. She is first. So I was like, hey, well done, whoever your agent is.
And that makes me excited too. Like I know this is telling, you know, Obi-Wan's story, but it also is Leia's story because it kind of shows how they became connected and
because
why she calls for him in A New Hope.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. And that was one thing I loved to like find out as this episode continued. And then Leia's story part kind of overlaps into Obi-Wan's. I was like, okay. And then the first thing I thought of was like, okay, this makes sense why she sends the message with R2D2 to Obi-Wan. You know, you're our only hope. And you don't know why or how she knows him. And you never knew. It was never explained in any of the other 3 movies how she knew him. But now we're going to find out.
Yep.
So, I mean, we do find out here.
Yeah.
And that's actually what we get into when we go into part 2 here. So we'll go right into it. Obviously, you know, he's in the ship. He lands on the planet. They call it Diode, I believe. I don't know how to spell that. I didn't have subtitles on. Didn't have to for this one, unlike Paramount Plus.
It's on the outer rim. So
yeah. We hear that a lot in Star Wars, but they get there and he's been tracking, you know, this ship the whole time to find Leia, and he gets here and the tracking's dead. Well, it turns out that this particular planet has all ship tracking has been killed. It's actually getting blocked on purpose. So he speaks to, Obi-Wan speaks to his master for guidance. So he like just out loud, he starts talking to Qui-Gon again.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, here we go. They're still leaning into it. Yeah. So it was really great, you know, that he was just, I mean, I feel like he's being answered in his mind, but we're not getting the answer. And we might hear about why later. But but he ends up meeting a girl on the streets, and then there's a conversation about Leia, and it's like, well, if you can't find her by now, you're not going to find her.
Yeah,
at all.
She's gone. If she's here on this planet, she's gone.
Yep. And then we have the first kind of I guess big name, because
which, and the girl, actually, because this was another connection I thought was really cool. She's selling spice.
Yes, right.
I was like, yeah, like, I just like how everything like is coming together and like it's connected. And
like from Mandalorian.
From Mandalorian, like she had all this different spice, and which I know Mandalorian takes place way after, but
it's still in the same world.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I was like, okay, yeah. And they were just kind of like, tying the Han Solo movie, the kids had to dig for spice, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was cool. I mean, she's a drug dealer is what she was.
Yeah, she's a drug dealer.
He doesn't just meet a girl randomly. He's like literally looking for information. Who do you go to? A drug dealer knows a lot, so but we run into the first big name, kind of I don't know, guest, I guess. We'll see what he plays out to be, but Kumail Nanjiani is playing a Jedi, in quotes, I will say, right?
Yeah.
He's more of just he's just a crook, right?
Yeah.
More or less. I mean, he does serve a purpose. He does help people, but he pretends to be a Jedi.
He is good, but he also makes money off of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Instead of helping people for the kindness of his heart,
he wants money.
He wants the money and the credits, right?
Yeah.
And he pretends to be a Jedi by having like controllers under his sleeves and magnets in places, so he can like lift things, and then like he can like tell the blinds to close. Yeah. And Obi-Wan oversees him like helping a mother and a daughter. Was a daughter, right? Or was it a son?
I think it was a mother and a son.
Okay. Get out, and he helps them. They are able to escape and get out of the city. But Obi-Wan sees all that happen, and he kind of realizes like something's not right here. He knew pretty much right away. So he goes over and takes care of him, and he tries to swindle Obi-Wan for I think it was almost 1,000 credits. He wanted 500 to help him, 800 to locate them, and then for 1,000 he would give him a little extra information and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, that's all you need, huh?" Because he's like, "Oh, just for a few credits is all really what I do." Oh, you're a few credits.
He didn't know, Obi-Wan.
Oh, he had no clue Obi-Wan was a Jedi at all. He was, which was great. So, but he's obviously he wants help trying to find Leia. And he kind of tells him everything except for her name and whatnot. And then he just says, whatever, like not a big deal. Goes off on his own to do it. He doesn't want this guy's help, clearly. And we kind of get in our first action sequence here with Obi-Wan, where he gets into the fight in the alley. Never pulls his lightsaber. It's just kind of a fist fight. Little bit of like, I don't know, martial arts in there in a way. There's a little bit of that going on. But not a whole lot, obviously. He's what, a 45-year-old guy now, right? So he's up there when it comes to human standards, I guess. But that was kind of cool. He goes through a drug area where the spice and everything's there, right? He steals a key card.
Yep.
And then he creates a distraction right before he steals the key card, where that container explodes and everybody starts running or whatever. But yeah, he gets the key card, and then he gets into the prison, I guess you'd say. It's like a prison or a holding area.
It's like a club front for a drug factory.
Yeah.
That also is like a prison.
Yeah, where they're just abducting people and keeping them.
Yeah.
And he gets back into this area and finds them. That's where he does a little bit of the fighting. And he gets into the area where Leia should be and opens the door up, and there's just like a dummy that's there. So it's like, okay, where's she at? Who knows? But it was all done on purpose. They were luring Obi-Wan into there. And that's where Needles shows up again with some of his croonies.
Yep.
And then they try to
start fighting with him.
Yeah. They like have him against the wall, and then punching him. And he says, I didn't realize Jedi could bleed, and all those kinds of things.
And then Obi-Wan takes the spice the girl gave him earlier and just
chucks the bottles on the ground, and he puts a mask on there because he has a
and everybody else is like, hi.
Yeah. They're all on the ground, like wasted now. Like he runs off to go find Leia where she's really at.
Remember anything?
No, they're done for. But then the third sister shows up, and Obi-Wan's gone. They're on the ground, all passed out, wasted, and she's very unhappy. at this point, like, where is he? And like, they're obviously not answering her because they're out of it.
They don't know anything.
But then they put out, well, the other Inquisitors aren't very impressed with her, thinking that she's, doing, well, she thinks she's awesome, first off.
Yes.
And the third sister does. And the rest of them are just like,
they're annoyed with her.
Yeah.
Like they do come out and say, you think by getting Obi-Wan, you're going to get in good with him.
Him. Yeah. Quotes.
Him. Like, I take that to be Vader.
Oh yeah. 100%. 100%.
Like, Vader is looking for Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Like, he still wants revenge because in his eyes, obviously Obi-Wan screwed everything up.
Yeah. He killed Padme and all that, it was all
what
Obi-Wan.
happened to the kids and
yep.
Yeah.
But then we actually see that they put a warrant out now for Obi-Wan. So his face is plastered everywhere in the city at this point.
Yeah, they put like an ungodly high bounty on him. So everybody's
like 500,000 credits.
Yeah,
it was a bunch.
It was crazy.
So they end up changing. Well, he ends up changing some clothes and everything to. He has actually found Leia at this point. Like, he finally gets to Leia. And then they change clothes and
he gets to the room to find her and the door opens and it's closed. And the next thing you know, like, she comes and punches him.
Yeah, she takes him a good hit,
was like
too.
Hidden behind the door. And I'm like, man, she is so smart. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, she puts him down to, like, not to the ground completely, but if she could have kept going. But she obviously has her questions for him when they do meet each other. Who sent you? My dad did. And, what do you mean you're a Jedi? Make something float.
Yeah. Why didn't he send the army?
Right. And they go back and forth. And then, like, he says something about, the story is that you're my daughter and we're, doing this and we're farmers or whatever. And she was like, he's like, and I'm your dad. And she's like, more like grandpa. And he's like, what?
Had a lot of good one-liners.
Yeah. He's like, what? She's like, nothing. That's So that was really cool to see. And then there's the alley scene where they kind of hide because they're still trying to, like, blend in. Now at this point, they kind of get out of the way and they go into this alley and sit down. He pulls out Lola, or she does. Leia pulls out Lola. It's all broken up still. And, they kind of have a conversation about her. And, she talks about how, she's, strong. And he's, he tells Leia that she's strong as well. Mm-hmm. And, that things should be fine. But this is also where she finds out that this whole time they're looking for Obi-Wan and they used her as bait to get Obi-Wan to come. And now she's very mad. Yep. Like, she's very, very smart. This is where they really make you realize how smart Leia is.
Oh, yeah.
Even as young as she is, she's just super smart. And for her to figure out that he is the whole reason she was bait, blew me away. Like, I didn't expect him to lean into her character that much, mental prowess of her. But I'm glad they did, and it makes sense.
Yes.
And I think it's going to make even more sense because clearly she becomes like an amazing, general and, like, everything over the whole span of her character. But it's like, oh man, dang, like, I wouldn't have put that together as a 10-year-old.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either. I would have just been like, "Give me the heck out of here!" Like, right,
this guy needs to help me.
Take me back to my parents.
She's like, "No, I'm out," and she just goes,
takes off.
She's gone. So he has to run after her, and this is where we kind of get the rooftop, kind of fighting. There's a little fight in the market that happens. Some blasters going off when he's chasing her through the market first, and then she gets to some stairs and climbs up, and then we have some rooftop jumping. Like, she's just spunky as shit. She don't give two shits. She's jumping from rooftop to rooftop. Like, they're
like it's nothing,
spaced apart and everything. And she's making her jumps and he's running after her. And we do get one cut to the third sister up on a higher rooftop somewhere in the city. And she's kind of just looking over the city, hoping something will happen. And then they do get to a part where the roofs are too far apart and Leia can't make the jump. And now there's another bounty, because now all this money that's on his head, people know now there he is.
And of course the third sister sees the blasters.
Yeah. So she sees the rooftop fight.
Starts taking off towards those rooftops.
Yep. And that was crazy. Like, clearly she's a Jedi at this point. Like, you don't know, as watching the show, you don't know they're Jedi. So I went in having no clue who an Inquisitor was. I watched both episodes and then did research. But it's like made sense here though, because she's like literally like running on walls and like flipping like 180s and
think parkour.
Jedi parkour. I mean, she's doing some epic Jedi parkour for sure. Yes. And I'm like, holy shit, what the hell? And I thought maybe she just stole someone's lightsaber and just a bad guy, but no, she can use the Force. Mm-hmm. And she makes her way over, not quite right to where they are, but finally Obi-Wan, everybody in Star Wars doesn't have the greatest blaster shooting capabilities. Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed,
suck. Their aim is horrible. I made that comment.
Yeah, the aim's pretty horrible.
I was like, the aim is so horrible.
Is it the blasters or is it the blaster? Right? Who is it? But yeah, finally he gets the shot on. He kills the bounty hunter that's after him, and at this point, Leia has now fallen off of the roof because she tries to make the jump, and she's now hanging on like some clotheslines that are like in between. And I kind of called this. I was like, she's gonna fall and he's gonna save her. Yeah, she falls. I called it like before they went up the ladder. And yeah, he catches her like right before the ground and then like slowly lets her fall to the ground. But they made that scene, and I'm curious if you think the same thing, but they made that scene feel like he's having a hard time using his powers because of the way they made him look. Like it was like he struggled to like use his ability and stop her. And then, I mean, he did do what he wanted to do, but obviously it happened in a split second versus what we see on screen.
Right.
But the way they had him kind of acting and portraying that.
I feel like maybe it's because he had been shutting that side of him off.
That's what I think.
Force. And like he's trying to open back up to it and, use it. But it had been like, walled off for so long.
Yeah, it's been 10 years since everything happened. So for him to just kind of seclude himself and stop using the Force probably takes some time to waken that back up or something. Yep. But I was like, okay, kind of saw that happening. So now she's like, you are a Jedi.
And now she's like, okay, I believe you. I'm going to stay with you.
Yeah. So the Haja was Kumail Nanjiani's character's name.
Yes.
He shows up and he's actually helping them now get out of the city. And there's a little conversation with him and Obi-Wan. And he's like, why should we even think you're going to help us? And he's like, well, what other choice do you have? Yeah. You're either going to die here or you're going to like, let me try and help you.
Yeah.
And so they let it. Okay.
He gets them on a cargo ship that has no people. So there won't be anybody looking for them.
Yeah. It's like automated.
Yeah.
Yeah. No pilots or anything like that. And he has a key for it. So he gives the key to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan then gives the key to Leia and tells Leia just to go because now the third sister is after them. And Haja plays like decoy. Yeah. Like he tries to like play interference, give him a little time to run. And she kind of wastes him a little bit. I mean, she doesn't kill him, but she grabs him with the Force and like slams him against the wall. And he's like, oh, that wasn't done with magnets. I thought that was really good too.
Yeah, that was really good.
And then she proceeds to just interrogate him. And he doesn't give her anything.
No, but she can read his mind.
Yeah. So
she's like, I don't need you to talk.
Yep.
She just takes what she wants.
Yep. She took it and took off and just left him there. So you get a cutaway now back to Leia and Obi-Wan, and they're walking through this like cargo ship area trying to figure out what they're going to do next. And she has her moments where she's talking about, we're going to do this and this. And he's like, you remind me of someone I knew. And, she was very brave like you too. And, he's talking about Padme.
Yes.
I mean, the whole time that.
Well, and she asks, was it a Jedi?
Was it a Jedi?
And he said, no.
No.
And he just says, you remind me of her. She was very high-spirited and,
And then she kind of talks a little bit about her. And then he's like, she died a long time ago. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. But, I'm sorry about that with your friend. He's like, yeah. And you could tell it was really hard for him because it's like, she's your mother. Like, but he doesn't say any of it. He doesn't bring it up at all. So that was a cool moment though. I enjoyed that scene. quite a bit because it referenced so many things, and then you really do see Padme in her.
Yes,
the way she talks and like the way she acts, and she's just very gung-ho, but she's like very like mindful about all of it. Like she knows what she's gonna do, and she knows she can do it, and she speaks it very eloquently. Like she knows she's just gonna do those things.
She's wanting to do the things for the betterment of everyone.
Right. She's not selfish.
She's not selfish at all.
Yep. So now essentially the Inquisitor shows up and he sends Leia on her own, and lightsabers out.
Yep.
Like, here we go. He has his in hand, not activated, but the third sister shows up and she's like pushing crates everywhere, and she's doing that bad guy thing where she's kind of like explaining her plan,
Yeah.
And he's just kind of hiding and listening the whole time. And she says, Vader is looking for you. Like,
he's still alive.
He's still alive. And you just see like Obi-Wan's face completely change.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
what?
Like he has no idea.
Yeah. He had no idea.
And that's one thing a lot of people like forget about. Like, I mean, I didn't forget about that, but like a lot of people don't realize that, well, Obi-Wan just left. Like he's going to burn up on this planet and die. He doesn't know that the Emperor came and took him. So to see that reaction was great, because it's like another one of them things you get from watching a series like this in between movies. So that was really cool. And then the Grand Inquisitor shows up now, just at the time where she's about to find Obi-Wan. Like she's right there on like the other side of these crates, and they kind of have a back and forth conversation where
a little tiff.
Yeah, she's not happy with him.
Is not happy with the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, she is. She's done all this. She's lured Obi-Wan in. She's found him. She's going to capture him, and she's going to be Vader's prize little girl. And now he shows up, the Grand Inquisitor does, and she's instantly threatened.
Yep.
And she's like, "You think I'm going to let you take all of the credit?" And she kills him.
Yep.
I did not see that coming.
I didn't either. Like she was just
right through the belly.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah. And she didn't hesitate. Like she just straight up like, we're done. Like you're close enough for battle scars. I'm just killing you.
Yep.
And Obi-Wan then uses the Force mentally to search for Anakin, because essentially he gets on the thing and they fly off. But he looks for Anakin, and we get the episode that cuts with this. As soon as he gets his vision, we see Vader in a tank with no helmet or suit on. He's just got the mask on to breathe underwater. It's basically like a healing tank, like we've seen in like the Boba Fett series.
Boba Fett.
If you have not seen that yet, go watch it. But yeah, he's just floating in this tube. Eyes open up.
Yep.
And the camera kind of pans out, and you get the breathing sound. Episode over.
And it's cool, like I think, and I don't know what you think about it, but like Obi-Wan is searching for him using the Force to find him. Like, is he really alive? And it's almost like the instant he finds him, Anakin's eyes open.
That's exactly right.
So like Anakin feels that connection with Obi-Wan, like, oh, there he is. Like,
which leans into the New Hope, because there's moments in New Hope where that same stuff happens, where he's just like, Obi-Wan. And then he knows he's there. Like that's just how it all went in that as well. So to see how they're like slowly connecting, from episode 3, Attack of the Clones, or Revenge of the Sith to A New Hope, and they're just weaving it all together with this it just in 2 episodes has been really nice to see.
It's been awesome.
Really, really nice.
The first 2 episodes, I've been way happier than I ever was with the entire Halo series.
Yes. Yeah. They definitely tripped and fell flat on their face with that one.
Yeah.
But this one, they're soaring to new heights. It's really, really, really good.
This is how you tell a story.
Yep.
This is not a convoluted mess. Like this is how you tell a story.
Yeah. You can tell. I mean, there's a ton of content already out there, and they're just filling in gaps in between. So they have a beginning to go off of, and they have I know where I'm going. So that helps a whole lot with this.
Oh yeah.
Knowing that, we're going to get to this point, Obi-Wan's not going to die. He's not going to get cloned or something like, that's not going to happen. I mean, he could get cloned, I guess, but
speaking of clone, there was a nice little Easter egg.
Yes, we got to talk about that real quick.
Yes, where Obi-Wan is walking through an alley on the planet, and there you just see the helmet, and he says, spare change for a veteran, and instantly, like, the voice.
Like, it was a clone trooper helmet too, by the way.
The voice, and you're like, no way. And then when they turn, it's a clone, a Django clone, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is such a cool little Easter egg.
He has like a giant Santa Claus beard.
Yes, and it's all white and scruffy.
Yeah, it's all like peppered up and stuff. And
you can tell, like, Obi-Wan just looks at him like, he gives him credits.
Yeah, he gives him some credits to help out. But yeah, that was a neat little Easter egg. I'm like, oh, that was Django. It was just a clone. We were both like, him.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
But yeah, they're doing this right. I didn't think they could stumble on this at all because of, the source material. It's Star Wars, and you're going to get picked to pieces if you really, if you screw this up even just a little bit. And even though we're not the biggest Star Wars lore type of people, like we've said, we love the movies. I mean, I love the video games and stuff too, but this is, these are the shows I like to watch because they're deep. There's a lot of meaning to things that even if you're just a small fan like us, like we enjoy them, but we don't know absolutely everything. You're still going to catch something really cool, or there's going to be a connection to something that you find out that you're going to be like, oh, you're going to really, really enjoy. Even just that little Easter egg with the clone trooper was very cool. But just everything's on par, if not better than a lot of the movies, because it's taken so seriously. And the sets look fantastic. This new planet they were on, this what was it called, Daru again, what do I call it, Daeud. It's kind of like a rundown cityscape. It's in between like a Tatooine and then Cloud City, sort of vibe. And they made it feel like its own thing. Like it isn't, they're not just like copy and pasting something here. Like, give me a planet with a bunch of tech on it. Okay, let's use this one again. They're giving us new planets that have a different purpose that we've never seen in the Star Wars universe before. I mean, essentially this is kind of like it's not a great planet. It felt cyberpunky in a way. Yeah. With seeing how the people looked and all the spice and the drug dealing and, these shady alleys and these crooked, people, Haja, the character trying to, get credits to help people and pretend to be a Jedi. And, so I really liked, all the little new things that they put in it as well. It was definitely a great couple of hours because I think the first episode's 56 minutes and the second one's 48 or 42. Yeah, so you're about an hour and a half, 90 minutes ish to watch the pair of these together. But excellent start. Really good start. They know how to hook you at the end of an episode too, because they could have stopped with episode 1 or part 1 of this, and I would have been so ready for part 2. Because it was a great hook at the end of the first one with just the saber on his hip. And then they hook you again at the end of this one with Vader in his healing chamber. And you're like, holy shit.
And you're like, oh,
let's go. I'm ready. And now it will just be one episode a week. And we'll be bringing those. I think we're going to try and put them up on Fridays with our news episodes. If not on Fridays, we'll be putting them out on Saturdays. So hopefully you guys enjoy those as we bring them to you and talk about them. We definitely want to talk Star Wars. If you guys enjoy Star Wars or anything about it, or if you're watching this and you want to talk Obi-Wan, make sure hit up the links and look down in the descriptions below, because we have the Discord down there that's always open and ready to chat. We have just a general chat discussion in there. We like to talk about stuff, and these are going to be fun. I think we've got a good one on our hands here.
I think so too.
Yeah, pretty excited. I'm excited to see whether or not they're going to do 6 and be done, or if this will end at a point and we might get more and they'll continue to fill in gaps between now and A New Hope. But either way, so far so good. I'm digging it.
Yep.
And we want to keep on an upward track. We're ready.
That's right. Let's make this a good limited series. Yeah.
Believe it or not, Heather loves her action, but this did not have a ton of action in it, and Heather's loving it.
Good story.
That's what I'm trying to point out. It's a give and take. It's a 50-50 sort of thing. It's kind of a combination. And you have to do them right. And they're doing all of it right. The story they're doing right. The little pieces of action they're doing right. And like I said, the action or the actors and the sets and the special effects and stuff are just on point.
Yes, they were awesome.
They've put money into the show, and you can tell.
Definitely.
All right. Well, hey, we will get out of here for this week, and we'll see you back soon for some more. So it should be a few days, actually, since we're a little late putting this one out. And until then, everybody out there, take care. We'll see you on the next one.